Well, I think it's time to do another video about clips. Let's do it. So, titanium, stainless steel, stock, custom, deep carry, shallow carry, what have you. What is my favorite kind of clip to carry? The short answer is I don't have a favorite because I think it depends on the knife. The main thing I'm going to be talking about here is shallow carry versus deep carry. When do I prefer it? Do I care? The answer is yes, I do care, and I do have a specific case where I prefer shallow versus deep. So let's just get right in. Obviously, there's a bunch of different kinds. You can refer to my different kinds of clips video. I'm not necessarily going to be talking about that, specifically talking deep versus shallow. If you're not familiar, a deep carry clip, such as the one I have here, has kind of a little fold over situation going here, where the top loop of the clip sits almost at or definitely at the very bottom edge of the knife, so that when you put it in your pocket, the pocket sits up to here and almost the entire knife disappears completely in your pocket. That is a deep carry. Whereas a shallow carry is one that does not have the loop, rather is just a relatively straight piece of metal and then has the screws at the top, where your pocket would only go to the point where the clip lifts off from the knife, leaving a small portion of the knife exposed out of the pocket. Now, the main thing that you can probably tell from these three knives versus these three is that these three are larger. Now on these three, I would not put a deep carry clip on these knives. I actually much prefer the clips that they come with here. That being the percentage of knife that is in the pocket compared to the percentage of knife that is sticking out of the pocket, that ratio is much higher than that situation would be if it was a smaller knife. So you still have a great vast majority of knife that's in the pocket, and this shallower carry makes it a little bit easier to actually grab the knife and pull it out. If this whole thing was submerged in my pocket, it would be a little bit less comfortable to carry around because it'd be deeper in the pocket, it would be a little bit harder to get out. That is especially true for something like this, which has such a long handle. It's a much bigger knife. I wouldn't necessarily want it to be sitting all the way in. I like having it, about to here. Again, makes it easier to grab, and it's easier to, it's more comfortable in the pocket. Now, you might say, well, you want it completely concealed because you don't want, to alarm people that you might have a knife. Well, if I'm in a situation where I don't want to alarm people that I have a knife, I'm not going to carry something big like these. I'm going to carry something smaller, a little bit less intimidating, looking a little bit more discreet. And on those kinds of knives, I will prefer to have a deep carry clip, because the classic example being the Para 3, if you were to imagine this stock clip on the Para 3, the pocket's going to go probably to here, which is, God, it's almost a quarter of the knife, right? So I don't want a quarter of the knife sticking out, because that could definitely be prone to falling out. If you, sit, bend your leg, run, you never know. It's just not as comfortable. This one, you can have it submerged in your pocket, all the way or almost all the way in this case, and it won't be as uncomfortable because it's not as long of a knife. Same deal with the bug out. I would not want a shallow carry on this because, again, percentage-wise, more of the knife is going to be sticking out, and it's small enough to fit deep into my pocket. So that's kind of my short take on that. I do have one exception that doesn't necessarily fit this rule, and that's the PM2. So the PM2, in terms of closed length, is pretty close to the native. It is a little bit shorter. So you can see here that it is a little bit shorter. But it is still a larger knife. So it's actually the same length as my large Sebenza. But I do prefer the deep carry clip on this one. For some reason, I just didn't find it all that comfortable to have this thing in my pocket with the shallow clip. And so on the PM2s that I have, I just automatically get that deep carry clip. I just didn't really like the way it felt, and I have not experienced that with other big knives. With other big knives, I do prefer the shallow carry, but again, this is the contradiction to that statement. So do with that information what you will. I'm curious, do you guys follow a similar trend, or is it on a knife per knife basis? Maybe that's the case. That would certainly make sense as well. Or maybe you just prefer one in all cases. I would like to hear what you think in the comments. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like what you're seeing. All right, this was a quick one, but thought it might be interesting. So we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.